Like some people got in demonstrations we would have, and they would have their camera hidden, and then we go look on TV, and they got us on TV saying certain things and misrepresenting it. Okay, so we already know the game. Anyway, this psychological guerrilla warfare, it got so easy and got so good that, okay, here you are. Well, what are you going to do? If you remember when you read the internet sometime, some of the flyers that we made, some of the stuff that Steve Emerson and those guys wrote in there, it was the exact words that our flyer was saying. And when the Zionists read it, oh, they get mad. But imagine the Muslims when they read it. You see what I mean? Oh, okay. You could imagine that at least 10, 20% people watching a website going to be Muslims. So imagine how well known we are. Not how many people come, because everybody know the rule. If they come sit here, they're in trouble, or what they call trouble. But imagine how many admirers we have. You know, it has to be happening because we're just cruising along all the time. And boss man throwing his stuff at you and all of that. And one of the brothers used to call me the Teflon Imam, like, you know, whatever throw they do, it don't stick. I guess that's what he meant. You know, a no-stick plate or something. Teflon bounces off. So anyway, so I was telling the brother the other day, I said, no, it's like psychological warfare. We do it. We have perfected it. It works perfectly with all the big Zionists. Not only Steve Emerson them, but all them other, Ibrahim Foxman, and the other one that I called him out on TV one time.
Daniel Pipes.
Daniel Pipes. I said, yeah, you talking all that mess. I said, you're in Philadelphia, you beat me at the university down there. I'm not going to talk to you, man. And you know what? Marty Bray and Mark Bar-Amrika was in the audience. They were so mad at me. Like, their idea was, you don't know how to talk to these people. And I was thinking, I know exactly how to talk to them. You know, this is what I was thinking. Right. You know? And I still think that way. Y'all don't know how to talk to them. Being nice to them and all, Mr. Zion. I said, no, you're a bunch of bums. Anyway, so we're just in a new stage right now. Technically, we have already done that. You know, we've made history. We're still here right now. Don't worry about the number, just look at history, what we're doing, what we're saying. Where do we fit on the scale? It can't be NBR, but what about the sages, the wise people and those, right? Some of them that was commissioned didn't have but one or two people with them, right? They was commissioned. And we've been here boxing with Boss Man and whooping him. And now we going directly, the Zionists took over several years ago. You can tell when they take over because of their behavior. Right. The behavior of just throwing the law out. Like if you look at what they do in Palestine. Right. They may have an Ottoman deed to the property. They just say, you don't have it. And here, they just say, oh, your property, and we got the deed sitting right. They just read, the Zionists told them to do that. The Zionists are telling them to do that. When George Floyd was on the ground and calling for his mother, that was the Zionist mentality. Because even a dumb Southern police officer would have enough sense that the whole world is watching. so we'll kill him next week or 2 weeks, we'll just do it then. Right?
Right.
That's the Zionist. They have no, and the Zionists chose him, selected him, because they had access to all the records. They selected him. They selected him because his profile, they didn't went over all the records, he'll do it. They gave him the commission, gave him the job to do it. And that's what we recognize, that the Zionists have taken over. That's why when the FBI came here a couple of years ago, and they were saying, well, I said, well, and they said, from now on, we don't have nothing to do with, we don't. In other words, this is coming from the FBI. So I'm thinking about it. Because I told them, they said, well, you shouldn't go back to Oakland because I just stay out here, and they were saying the same words we say, and do good deeds and all that. I said, so when I went back to Oakland, exactly the same thing they was telling me happened. I didn't encourage it or nothing. And then when I talked to the Iranians, the funny ones that wanted me to change the story of what's going on here in America, and I told them about that. I said, yeah, that was on my background. That was us, that was it. And then I'll tell you about it when you come over. So everybody is in on this stuff. And you could tell when the Zionists have taken charge, because there's no way the FBI is going to come by here and tell me something like that. And I told them, you're the FBI. That's the Oakland Police Department. And I'm just saying, they can't tell you, no, you tell them, right? You're the FBI. You go out there and tell them, da, 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 da. That's what I told them. Something else had to be going on. Coming from their top. You see what I mean? And when you look at America now, you can see that everything is being run according to what's good for the Zionist program. There's nothing in it about what's good for America and good for the American people. It's stripped, there's nothing good in what's going on in the world, the American world, what's going on here that's good for Americans. It's all good for the Zionists. Everything, all their enemies, the Zionist enemies, all of the people they don't like, and they come out even openly with Iran and others, and they just blow up something in this town, blow up something, and it's all right for them. Because they're Zionists. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Okay, well, we'll speed up here. Okay, that's the environment we're working in. Remember, when we come up with our method of operation, we got to take all that into account. And imagine we're still here, we're still alive, and we're using our method and process. And they left us alive long enough to build up a whole library of grand jury. Remember that we did all of that stuff. And nothing happened. Once we got the first one off the plate, that's going to be fine. What I'm trying to tell you is that when history is written, it's going to be surprised when people analyze where we are, where we come from, and hopefully where we go. That we're going to be the ones that drag this thing down and build it back up. Psycho-spiritual and social warfare. So it moved from psychological guerrilla warfare to psycho-spiritual. Now, you got to remember, if you're going to study your enemy, just like Lao Tzu's and all them guys, know yourself, know your enemy 1,000. Okay, what's his weak points? Psycho-spiritual. That's his weakness. Or you could put spiritual psycho. Whatever you go, psycho, he don't have no defense. He don't have no defense. What did they have them things on Star Trek where they got a shield or something? Anyway, they ain't got no shield. They always say put up the shield.
Right.
I forget what it is. But they ain't got those. Why? Because it's psycho-spiritual. Anything you put spiritual in it, they're finished. And that's what we put first. That's why nobody understands. You gotta have been in history for years to even figure out what we're talking about half the time. Because if your heart is not kind of halfway right, it sounds like riddles and stuff like that. Until you go and analyze it step by step. When you had to analyze the time, well, the time, they have been here a while. And how to pump the FBI, they use the hadith, the real hadith that go along with making fun of people, The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam built a mimbar in the Masjid for Hassan ibn Thabit to satirize the enemies. So that's what we did. We satirized Boss Man, right? Okay, we're still here, ain't nothing happened, and that's been decades ago. A couple of decades. That's been a while back. 2007, that's been 15 years ago. About 15 years ago? 2007. 15 years ago. We were doing it before then, but that particular thing, that particular program, is 15 years ago. It's for everybody else's ancient history, right? And we was doing it then, and it worked. And everybody know we did it. Okay. So, a lot of people think that if you have numbers walking up and down the street and talking out the side of your mouth, that's the movement. Well, not today, it's not. It's just not the movement. Because if you're walking up down the street talking out the side of your mouth, it's because you're saying what boss man wants you to say, right? Yeah, anyway.
Imam Musa, people usually laugh because we still handing out DVDs and CDs with DVDs now.
Right.
But as I've been thinking about it lately, the way they're talking about how the media is being controlled,
Right.
this is the only way we would be able to make sure people understand
Where we're coming from, our words.
Right.
Because if they take our words and put it on their media, it's not going to be the reality.
That's right.
Right. So they're not going to put our message out the way but when we put out those DVDs,
Right.
which we're going to make one more that goes along with one of the others. And remember, we got just a package, one flyer, and probably 2 DVDs in each pack, and we're going to distribute them all around. We won't take boxes and necessarily raise funds, with boxes, maybe every now and then. But we're preparing for Ramadan. We're preparing for the Eid. And we're going to have what we suggest they do. If they do it, fine. If they don't, at least everybody will know who we are. And if we go with flyer and a package, they might pay more attention than if we go with flyer, package, and a box. Yeah. Anyway, let me try to speed up here. So mission is one. Vision is one. You try to fight your enemy with something that he's not he's not equipped with. If you can hit him with equipment he don't have, you got to win almost. He don't have no psycho, no spiritual, and no social defense. His sociology has gone out. They're killing black people socially. He's invaded everybody in the world, not us, right? His social behavior is, yeah, we'll invade Iraq. We want to invade Iran. Our friends will invade Libya. And we'll invade, they invaded Libya too. Steal all their money and cause all that trouble. Can you imagine? That Gaddafi got that whole corridor cut off and helping everybody. And they cut off the corridor and everybody now go to Libya, right? And catch a boat and go over to Europe by the millions. And Gaddafi, no racial problem, right? And now they put black people in jail in Libya when they come. You see what I mean? Yeah. The guy, even as he, with his green book, he was doing better than they was with, anyway. Again, back to the strategy. We have here psycho, spiritual, and social. If you include behavior like invading people and killing people, that's social behavior, bad behavior. Well, he invade anybody he wants, anytime he wants. And Syria may need its poor little oil, but the little oil they got, they steal the oil and pump it and give it to Syria's enemies. Yeah, we're gonna steal your oil and we're gonna give it away to those guys, right? These people have no, just imagine when this stuff, when people wake up and they're reading it in history, they say, man, I was alive when that was happening. That was crazy. And we let it happen. You know, the white man's burden is what, well, the people over there, the dark continent needed help, and we had to go over there. It was our burden to go over there, right?
And civilize them.
And civilize them. They've been there for I don't know how many years, but they need to be civilized by the most uncivilized people in the world. Okay, psycho-spiritual. Strategic imagination. Visioneering means engineering the society. That's your vision, that you're engineering the society. We're shaping events that we hope will fit into the system that we're looking to continue to develop. System domestication. A person would have to have been here all this time to see that no matter what anybody thinks or believes, we've domesticated the system, trained the system. They do what they do it. That don't mean when they kill people, they doing what we tell them. But everything else, when we want them to look like a fool, we send something around and they start acting a fool. And it's a foolishness because everybody sees them. Nothing is hidden anymore. Everything is out in the open. And like we tell them, that's what we're doing. We're finishing you off, boss man. You've been a bad boy. And we're not accepting no leadership by dysfunction. In other words, you're dysfunctional system, and we want to pass a little bit y'all's way so you can rescue us. Well, no, we're not going to do that. It's almost like a contract. Like, okay, what is this agreement? Why? Because you're bad. And you're not going to, either you or people with you, when we start making progress, always you're going to try to cut it off and steal the credit. They do that. If you're a good teacher in school and you get everything real famous, shoot the people over the school, either try to co-opt you or they want credit for it. They don't want you, the hard-working teacher, to get the credit, that put the program together, right? Why that program came to us, I'm the administrator of that program, right? Because that's psycho-human dumb nature to do that. Okay. Strategic imagination. You can tell by the way we talk, we do have a vivid imagination. We can visualize things. It's not childlike, but that's one thing that a person should never lose, is their ability to visualize and dream outside of what they've been taught and outside of reality. You know, the reality they're presented. We're presented a reality you can't win. You gotta go through that, and that's it. Well, we visualize outside of that reality. Okay, I'm gonna speed up here a little bit. Domestication. Yeah, we domesticate. We have domesticated because we have expected and anticipated everything the system is going to do. Years ago, and we still do it, updated all the time. So everybody else is surprised about their behavior, but not us, because we anticipated everything they was going to do. Now, evolution of resistance. Evolution of resistance means what we did 2 years ago, we're in another stage now. You don't just jump out of that stage and jump into another. You're still, evolving into. Evolution means we're evolving into, and there has been an acceleration in the evolution because the decline of the world is going fast. So we don't have the time. If we would have thought about this some years ago when we conceived it, we conceived of having time to evolve. Revolution is quick and da-da-da-da-da. Evolution is slower, it evolves. Okay. Now we have to mix evolution and revolution because we don't know the time limit. And the time limit don't look good. You know what I mean? Like the earth, if you